Hey y'all, it's Olivia. If you're new here, I am a senior at NC State University. I'm studying fashion textile management with a minor in journalism, and I studied abroad in Florence, Italy last semester. And I would love for you to go ahead and subscribe. So if you guys have been following me, you will have seen the vlogs that I've done throughout my study abroad experience. Unfortunately, it was only a month long due to COVID, but I never really gave y'all an overall, answered any questions about study abroad, really explained how I got everything to happen and what I got out of my experience and all of the details. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be recapping my study abroad experience with you guys, and if you guys have any questions that I don't answer, please leave those down below. I will answer them, or I can do a study abroad Q&A as a follow-up if I miss anything that you were curious about or need to know. So today's video is actually my Gilman Scholarship project. So I was a Gilman Scholar during my study abroad experience. So basically I had to pitch an idea for a project that I would do as my follow-on project, and I pitched that I would do a video. So it is a requirement for me to do this video. I would have been doing a video like this anyways. This isn't the only reason that I'm sharing this video, but it is part of my scholarship. And I will be telling you guys more about the Gilman Scholarship. So I know that there's a lot of people that don't even consider study abroad, or they don't realize that it is an option for them until it's too late or it's crammed for time. I have always been pushed to study abroad. I remember it being something that we went to one of the meetings at orientation at NC State. So it was always kind of on my radar. So it's good to go in to college thinking about when you want to study abroad and where you might want to go. I made sure to keep my ears open whenever my professors were talking about programs that people in my major normally did. The study abroad office can help you a lot. There are tons of meetings that you have to go to once you decide you want to apply. You have to go through all these different steps, and you'll definitely learn all the information that you need to know during that. But as an underclassman or someone that's considering studying abroad, I would just think about if you want to do a summer or a semester and look into where you can go with your major. So I was looking into all of that. I had mainly heard of NC State Prague. So NC State has a school that they partner with, or a hub location in Prague. So it's like a direct transfer. You're on an NC State campus, and that was the one that I was looking into at first because I knew a lot of people in my major, which is fashion textile management. I know a lot of people did that one. I had never traveled before, and I didn't really know much about other countries or other cultures. I didn't know what I wanted travel wise. I knew I wanted to take the opportunity. So that's something to think about too. Like, what do you want out of your experience? What location would be your ideal location? I only looked into programs that were direct, like group studies, programs that NC State partnered with, but you can also find your own school and be an exchange student. That's just a little more work. You have to make sure that all of your classes transfer and just approve it with your study abroad office, but they will definitely help you if that's something that you want to do. But I knew that I wanted to do a program where a group of NC State people would be there as well. So I was looking into Prague, and then I was actually following these girls on Instagram that are also in my major, and I'm like friends with them on Facebook, and they studied abroad in Florence, Italy. And whenever I saw over the summer that they were going there, I was like, wait, my major can go to Italy? Like, I didn't even know it was a thing because I hadn't done my full research on the website yet. Once I saw that these other girls were going to Florence, I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, that sounds like a dream. I remember like learning about Italy whenever I was homeschooled, whenever I was like in 2nd grade. That would just be a dream place to go. So that's what made me realize that that's where I wanted to go. But definitely make sure to explore all of your different options, and also look at the classes that they offer for your major, because I got to take some really cool classes, which I'll get into. Once I knew I wanted to study abroad, there is a whole system that you have to go through with the study abroad office. There's several pre-departure meetings that you have to go to. There's pre-application meetings like Study Abroad 101. It is honestly very overwhelming, but it makes sure that you're responsible and that you're ready to go. You guys, I was going by myself. Like, I did not know anybody else that was studying abroad. Like, I knew people here and there, a few girls in my major, but I wasn't close with anyone else that was going. Like, I flew there alone and everything, and I knew going into it that I would be doing that. So I had to go and get a passport because I didn't even have a passport. So our study abroad office, of course, helps you with all of that stuff. We have an on-site location where you can take your passport picture and get your passport, apply for it, all of that. I had to do that in September before leaving in January. I think the beginning of September, end of August is whenever I had to do it, because you have to allow several weeks for it to get here. So having to do things like that, like get your passport, apply for your student visa, it's very stressful because you're going to be there over 90 days. So you have to have a special student visa, and you have to have a certain amount of money in your account to be able to do that. So that was one of the moments whenever I started panicking about the money and thinking I thought I could afford this, maybe I can't. So I am lucky enough that I have a full financial aid package that covers almost all of my schooling, and the financial aid package does transfer for your study abroad program, but still study abroad with the flight and the extra money. I mean, you're going over there for 6 months, you have to have a certain amount of money in your account, which this was a moment that I started panicking, thinking that maybe I couldn't afford it. For your visa, you have to have like $35 a day. It's almost $4,000 that I had to have just sitting in my account, and I didn't have that kind of money just like chilling in my account. So that was something that like freaked me out. So yeah, you have the cost of having to show the $4,000 to the visa. You have your plane, which is probably gonna be like $1,000, somewhere around in there. You have tuition, that normal stuff. Of course, you want to go on trips, so you have like trip fees. There's all kinds of fees that apply for study abroad that don't apply for a regular semester. So for me, as an in-state student going to NC State, study abroad ended up being twice the cost of what one semester at NC State would be. If you're going to an out-of-state college, study abroad is probably a cheaper option for you, honestly. So like I said, I was very lucky to have basically my whole NC State semester financial aid package transfer to my study abroad program, but that still left me like 50% that I needed to come up with money for. So I was worried about that. Of course, I'm so thankful that my family was able to help me a little bit. The application process, definitely seeing all those numbers worried me a lot, so I had to start looking into scholarships. We had people that also did the Gilman Scholarship that were coming in and doing their service projects, so that's how I really got to learn about this scholarship in particular. I ended up getting this one and one from NC State. The Gilman Scholarship is available to students that are studying abroad that are receiving the federal Pell Grant at a 2 or 4 year university. If you are someone that receives the Pell Grant through your financial aid services, you should definitely apply for the Gilman Scholarship. The Gilman Scholarship gives out over 3,600 scholarships every year, and you can receive up to $5,000. I believe that my package that I received was actually $3,000, so that was really good and very helpful. So how the Gilman Scholarship works is they just give you a direct transfer and give you the money, and you can use it for whatever bills you need to pay for study abroad, however you need to use it. They do have certain restrictions for if you can use it like for your flight or not, depending on the airline that you're taking, but basically they just give you the money and you have it and you're able to use it, and it was very helpful for me. So definitely look into applying for that. And there's also just lots of benefits to being a Gilman Scholar. It is an honor to be a Gilman Scholar, and they have many connections with different government facilities where you can go and tour different places and meet different people. I unfortunately didn't get to do any of that because my semester was cut short, but that is an amazing opportunity. And once you're a Gilman Scholar, you're always in the alumni system, so there are networking opportunities throughout that as well. So definitely apply for the Gilman Scholarship. That is part of the reason that I was able to study abroad and part of the reason why I am making this video today. I was an emotional wreck. I was so anxious. I'm getting really nervous, like really nervous, and I'm just very emotional today. So I'm really anxious about it. Like honestly, like I thought I was gonna throw up this morning. I think the idea of like getting on an 8+ hour plane, having a layover in another country, and then being in a completely new country where I'm gonna spend almost 6 months not knowing anyone coming into it, that was a lot for me to handle. Like I probably wouldn't have been so terrified whenever I got there if I had known that I would have been coming home in only a month. But at the time, we knew nothing of COVID, so we thought that it was gonna be the full experience. I was terrified, you guys. So I flew out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I had a layover in Munich, Germany, and then I flew to Florence from there. So the Charlotte to Munich flight was like 8 or 9 hours, like something crazy. And you guys, I had never flown before other than one time to New York City, and it only took like 45 minutes. Like I'd never flown to this extent. So I was overwhelmed, and like navigating the airport by myself, it was definitely a big learning experience. I feel like I've grown so much through this whole experience in general. The first day knocks you out, let me tell you. I fell asleep twice. One time I was sitting up on the couch, like I'm literally exhausted. So once I finally got to Florence, I was an emotional wreck. I couldn't even like look at my phone and like see texts from my friends and family at home without crying. Very overwhelmed, and all I'm thinking is how long we're gonna be here, how tired I am, and how hungry I am. So a little overwhelmed. and you know, just a little sad. Like if you had offered me to go home, I would have gone home and I would have regretted it so much, but like I was so emotional whenever I got there, and also the jet lag, just being exhausted. I was terrified. There's no other way to put it. But I attended Lorenzo de Medici. It is in Florence, Italy, and they are really helpful with everything that you do through them. My apartment was through them, and I had roommates that were assigned through them. I didn't know any of my roommates, and I've never lived with anyone that I've been friends with. I've always lived with like someone that I just kind of knew, or complete randoms, and I've never had like a really amazing roommate experience. Like I haven't had a best friend come out of a roommate experience, you know, so I didn't have very high expectations. The program did have us fill out a what we want in a roommate type of form, which you do many a time for college if you're not going in with a roommate that you already know. So I remember I clicked that I wanted someone that wanted to travel and that was outgoing and liked to go out and things like that, because before studying abroad I never felt like I had actually gotten that whole college friendship experience. Like I never made friends with my roommates, really, not good friends, not best friends. I never had like a group of girls at school that I was like really close with, or even one girl. Like I never really had a really close friend in college, and I never went out. Coming into study abroad, I felt like I hadn't got the college experience at all, and I was going in blind, and I just signed up for these roommates. I just clicked what I said I wanted, and I had no idea who they were going to be or anything. So my apartment had me, my roommate, and two other girls. My roommate, her name is Emily. She is the absolute most amazing roommate I could have ever asked for, and I really feel like she made so much of my study abroad experience. Like without her, I don't know how I would have done study abroad. She is actually from NC State. She goes here and she's my age. She is so outgoing. She's so friendly. Like NC State and LDM paired me with the best roommate that they could have paired me with. And she really brought me out of my shell and was there all the time and like really just happy and invited me to things. And I'm so thankful for her. She's one of my very best friends now. She really made me feel comfortable the first few days because she wanted to go explore, and she really got me out of the apartment. And she was just really friendly and welcoming, which is something that I found with a lot of the people that study abroad. Like everyone wanted to make friends, everyone wanted to find people to travel with, everyone wanted to make each other feel comfortable, and that was like a really beautiful thing about it to me. Like people that I knew of but were never close with, we ended up going out with and going places with and having fun with. A lot of study abroad was like finally having the college experience that I'd always dreamed of, and that is just not even the beginning of the amazing parts of study abroad, but that was something that was really fulfilling for me because I just felt like I'd never experienced that before. I knew that Italy was like super fashion, and like I learned about Italy whenever I was younger, and it had always been a place that I wanted to go, so I knew that that's why I wanted to go there, but I didn't know where I wanted to travel. So they had a school trip like every other weekend that you could sign up for, and I signed up for all of them because, like I said, I was going alone and I was afraid that I wasn't going to make friends. Then whenever I got there, everyone was like planning their own trips. Our option was to sign up for them before you even got there and definitely get the ones that you wanted, or wait until you get there and you've like talked to your roommates, talked to your friends, and then you can sign up a few days after you've been there. And that's what I would recommend doing instead of the way that I did it, because even if you don't think you're gonna make friends, you're gonna make friends and you're gonna want to travel with them. I only ended up going on one of the school trips because of the experience being cut short, but I know that there were times that like we were planning and like Emily was planning one thing and I was like, oh, but I have this school trip, like I wish I could go to this place with you. Like I would just recommend trying to plan with your roommates so that you get that out of the experience, but definitely go everywhere you want to go. Like if your roommates don't want to go someplace that you're dying to go, you need to go there anyways, so you need to find your way to get there. I would just try to plan and try to think of where you want to go, but don't like nail anything down yet. Alright, so let me tell you a little bit about my classes and the food there and the culture. I wish I had gotten to experience it all a little bit more, but I loved my classes that I took. So like I said, I'm in fashion textile management. I took visual merchandising, luxury brand management, fashion entrepreneurship, trend forecasting, and then we all took Italian. It's required at Lorenzo de Medici, and I absolutely loved my classes. My visual merchandising and my trend forecasting teacher, she was so cool. She's so young and like in the fashion scene and knows everything, exactly what's going on. Like I felt like I had like really up-to-date fashion teachers there, and it was so much fun. My visual merchandising class had a trip to Milan, which I didn't get to go on, or we would have gone to a museum that would have been really cool. My luxury brand management class, we went into all the luxury stores, and I just felt like I got a perspective that I don't really get at home, so that was really cool to me. So I absolutely loved my classes. The food there is also amazing, like gelato every single day. I'm gonna put in my favorite places that we went. This was our favorite gelato place. We lived on the other side of the Arno compared to where Lorenzo de Medici is, so we lived across the river. We had to walk like 30 minutes to get to school, but it was so pretty that we got to go over the river every day. We had the amazing gelato place over there. Like, me and Emily probably tried every single gelato place that there was, and this one is our favorite, so definitely go there if you study abroad there. We also had this pizza place that we absolutely loved. They would make you heart-shaped pizzas. But more with the food, there were tons of fancy pasta restaurants that we went to that we loved. I love just like sitting down and like them offering you a bottle of wine and the table sharing it, and then them bringing the food and the bread and just everything. Just the whole experience of dinner, it's like really slow and experienced, I feel like, rather than rushed. I feel like here I just eat my food so quickly and then it's over. I really felt like it was an experience there. And they also have like aperitivo where you get drinks before dinner, and we wanted to do that but we never got to. I just feel like there's so many little things that we wish we had done, but I still had such an amazing time. Trying out all the pasta places before we left and really trying to get the most out of the experience was so much fun. Just going to all the fancy restaurants that we went to and really get the most out of your experience. Try the pasta, try the gelato, try the dessert, try everything that you're offered to try, because you're gonna regret it otherwise. One of my favorite things that I actually did was getting a cheese board and jelly and Aperol Spritz outside the Duomo. So the Duomo is this big church in the middle of Florence, and it's so beautiful, and there's this little place on the corner where you can sit outside and drink and eat your cheese and your jelly, and it was so much fun. That was one of my favorite things that I did. As far as food and wine go, also you want to go up to the Piazza Michelangelo. You want to climb the hill. We call it the hill. You want to climb the hill. You go up there, you take your wine, and there's always someone singing and playing music, and there's these steps that you can sit on and this beautiful view of Florence. We went up on the hill at least every week. Like, it was so much fun. We did that all the time, and we went to rooftop bars. I wish we had had more time with that as well, because I only remember going one time whenever it was raining and one time at night, but it was still such an experience, and it's so beautiful there. Like, everything is so pretty. All the buildings and like the river and everything just feels like it's out of like an art piece or something. Like, it's just so beautiful. It just feels like a really friendly and beautiful place. My teachers that are from there were so nice and so sweet and kind, and all of the like restaurant owners that we met, they were also nice too. Like, whenever we found out that we had to leave and we were going to all the restaurants and doing all the last few things, they were all saying, we wish you didn't have to go, like, you should get to stay. Like, we didn't realize how bad COVID was at the time, obviously, and they would like give us like free samples and like all this stuff to try to make our experience the best that they could, and it was really nice to see. It's just a really fun experience, a really fun place to be. I feel like there's always something you can go and do. There's tons of restaurants to try. You can climb the Duomo. There's tons of museums. Go up on the hill. We lived across from the Pitti Palace, and we went to the Bubbly Gardens over there, which was so much fun. I wish that we had gotten to go to the Bubbly Gardens during the springtime, because we went in like February and it was like not as in bloom as it would have been if we had gone during the spring, but it was still so much fun to go to. I just feel like Florence is a really good place to visit if you're going to visit Italy, and a great place to study abroad. So many people study abroad there. It is really comforting to have other people that are going through the same thing that you are and having the same experiences. So now I want to talk a little bit about my travel experiences. We spent our first weekend there in Florence, exploring Florence. We went up on the hill. We tried different restaurants, really just trying to like get our bearings for the layout in the school and all of that. Then our second weekend we went on the Rome trip with the school, so that was a really great experience. I would recommend Rome with the school just because Rome is huge and there's so many different things that you want to see. I will link my vlogs down below from my travels as well if you guys want to see more in-depth a vlog of me on these different travel experiences. I will link that down below. But Rome with the school was really fun because like the Trevi Fountain, the ruins, like all this stuff is like all over, and it would have taken us all day to navigate without the bus system. That whole experience was really fun. It was our first weekend traveling too, so we were still just like so excited. I mean, we were so excited to be there the whole time, but we were still like really on this like excited level. I know we had to get up and walk to the bus. The bus was like 30 minutes away at like 5 in the morning. We would get up with all our stuff and like run over there and then sleep the whole way there. It didn't even take that long. And whenever we were in Rome, we went to all the major places. Like I said, the Trevi Fountain, the ruins, the Colosseum. We went to all of that. And then we also went to the catacombs on the way out, which was really cool. Our second trip, we went to Venice. We did Venice in a day. Me, Emily, and another girl took a train early in the morning, spent the day exploring Venice, and then took the train back at night. It was fun. It was a little stressful because how Venice is like the floating city and there's no roads or anything. Navigating with the GPS, which does work over there, like you can use your Google Maps and all of that stuff. It was just a little confusing because like sometimes you would come to a dead end where you couldn't cross unless you were in a boat. So stuff like that got a little confusing, but Venice was so pretty as well. We rode the ferry and got to really see around the whole city, and it was a lot of fun. We went during the carnival. We saw lots of people dressed up, which was really fun. Our last trip that we went on was with Bus to Alps. So whenever you get there, you will have all of these travel companies like spamming you, and it's a little aggressive. They'll be like approaching you in the street like with their flyer, and you're kind of like, oh, this is kind of weird, like I don't know about this. But I recommend going on those trips. So I know that there's Smart Trips and there's Bus to Alps. I only went on a Bus to Alps one, but it was so much fun. It was a great experience. We went with them to Interlaken, Switzerland, and we left Thursday night, got there in the middle of the night, slept, got up, and then we did so many fun adventures.
How do you feel? Are you nervous? No, we're ready.
We went paragliding, we went kayaking, we went hiking.
Oh, we made it. I'm literally so proud of us right now.
I know, I was like, it's a big accomplishment. We went up to First and did a cliff walk. We really did so much fun stuff. Like Switzerland was the peak of study abroad, literally, because while we were on the bus on the way back, we started hearing rumors about COVID and about having to go home. But Interlaken was so beautiful. It felt so like, again, just like a welcoming, like friendly, like not dangerous place. It felt really homey. I tried a traditional dish,
the famous macaroni, potatoes, and bacon, and then they give you applesauce and you're supposed to take bites in it. I don't know.
Like it was weird, but it was so fun and it was good. And just try all the things and do as many things as you can do. Like get the chocolate while you're in Switzerland. The hot chocolate was so good that we got. Go on all these adventures. I know like paragliding and kayaking and stuff was a little expensive, but it was so worth it. And we went home the next week. So literally I'm so glad that we went to Interlaken the weekend that we did. It was so much fun. That was definitely my favorite trip that we went on. It was beautiful, and instead of just like looking, we were really experiencing things there, and that's what I think I loved about it. I wanted to try to do more things where we were actually doing things and not just like looking at museums and stuff. Of course that was so much fun. Like we went to Rome and the Vatican and all of that, and like all of that was so like, that's stuff that you need to do whenever you go there, but it's also fun to do things that you're like experiencing it. And that's like a tip that I would say for traveling abroad. You want to feel like you experienced it. After we went to Interlaken, on the way home, we were hearing rumors about how Milan had a major breakout with COVID. People in Milan's study abroad programs have actually been canceled. Milan's not that far from here. We're planning to go in May actually, and it's been Milan Fashion Week this week, so I know a lot of people from here were there, and they've had some issues and they've been sending study abroad students home, so we've had some concern about that here. My next 2 weekend trips have actually been canceled. Everyone's been talking like, oh my god, if they cancel our program, what do we do? And I honestly don't know. It scares me. This was like the last weekend in February that this was happening, so we had gotten there the last weekend in January, and then the last weekend in February we were hearing rumors about going home, so we were really scared that our program was going to get canceled, and unfortunately that is what ended up happening. We ended up leaving the next weekend, basically saying that they are pulling us from our program for the semester and that we have to return to the United States. Immediately got my flight changed to leave on Wednesday, so we're so grateful that we were here for a month. And Emily and I are so happy that we went to Switzerland when we did. We obviously hate that it had to end this way. And flying back home, and it's so sad to think about because we spent all that time preparing, and like it was really an amazing adventure that we were on, and I wish that we could have continued on. I can only imagine, me and Emily are so close already from study abroad. I can only imagine how close we would have gotten. I mean, we're still friends now and we hang out all the time, but I feel like the relationships that you build in study abroad really are very close. You just like cling to each other together, because you're in this scary place and you make these amazing friends. Y'all have things in common. Y'all are here together. Like, that's something that I wish I had had more time with. Of course, I'd scheduled all these places that I wanted to go. So I was gonna go to Monte Carlo, the Amalfi Coast. I was gonna go back to Munich for Springfest because I was there in the spring rather than Oktoberfest. Like, I had booked like 4 or 5 new things and we were planning. We hadn't even gone on our spring break yet. So I really wish that I had gotten more time there. Also, to get to know Italy, since I was studying abroad in Italy, like, we didn't get to go to Pisa. I was planning on going to Milan. I didn't get to go to Milan. There are places in Italy that I wish that I had had more time with, and I wish that I had like had more time with Florence as well. We spent our last days in Florence just trying to get the most out of it that we could, and we ended up finding our favorite bar there. They have these little teacups. I just wish we had had more time to do things like that, like sit in the cafes, try out new coffee places, go to our favorite bars, go to our favorite restaurants. Like, I wish that we had had time to kind of make places that were ours. Coming home was really sad, but I still feel like I took away a lot of great things from the experience. I feel like I've grown so much as a person. After I came back, I really felt like experiences matter a lot more to me now. Like, people who I spend my time with, and like being happy and like spending true happy time with people that I love, and like experiencing new things felt so much more important to me than materialistic things. And I would say other impacts that it's had on me is that it's really made me want to travel. I know that I want to see more of the world. Florence is a place that I will love forever, and it has the absolute best memories. It is the best month of college I've ever experienced, and it makes me want to see more of the world. And like I said, I just wish I had gotten to know more of the culture and learn more of the language. So I think that finally recaps my study abroad experience. If you guys have any questions, please leave those down below. I'm going to also link the corresponding blog post down below, and it's gonna have like lists of my favorite places that I went and the places that you should go, and a lot about all of this as well. So I will link that blog post. If you have any questions, please leave those down below, and I will do a Q&A if I get enough questions, or I will just answer you directly if I don't have enough questions for a full video. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this, and check out my other study abroad videos if you haven't seen them yet, and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!